Hi, I'm Donna Lynn and welcome to another do-it-yourself crafting video. I do apologize for the delay. I know it's been quite a while. I think my last video was Easter time and I've been going through a lot of personal issues but we're going to try and get back on at least a weekly, I hope, schedule, fingers crossed, of videos. I've got a wonderful DIY to show you today. And what you need for this video is a pickle jar or any actual jar. You could use probably a jam jar or anything like that. My husband and I love pickles. We go through a lot of them. You're going to need pickle jar. You're going to need any kind of paint. Any kind of acrylic paint will work. You'll need a foam brush of some kind. You will need Mod Podge. I make my own Mod Podge because it's really cheap. And I'm not going to make a separate video to show you how to make Mod Podge. It's so simple. All you do is buy Elmer's glue, or you can get the generic Elmer's glue. Dollar Tree has it sometimes, but I know you can get it at like Family Dollar and Dollar General. It's usually like $1 a bottle in the smaller bottles. Anyway, all Mod Podge is, at least the homemade kind, is equal parts Elmer's glue or white school glue and water. And I make a big batch. And I save pretty much every jar. I take equal parts and I put it in a big jug and I mix it thoroughly. And there's your Mod Podge. So you're going to need the Mod Podge. You're going to need some kind of an acrylic varnish to coat your Mod Podge decoupage project when you're done. I buy this, and I've showed it in other videos. I buy the polyacrylic. You can get it at Walmart. This container was like $8.46, and it'll last you for quite a long time. I've used this on so many projects, and I've barely used any of it. You will also need pictures. You can use pictures from magazines. You can use photos. You can use scrapbook paper. I highly recommend you do not print out pictures from your printer and use inkjet paper, because if you do, most of the time what will happen is it will smear. The inkjet, when you apply the Mod Podge, the inkjet ink will run off. So what I did, because I was using personalized pictures for mine and because I couldn't find some of the ones that I wanted to use for my projects, is I printed out the pictures I wanted on my paper, and then I went down to Office Depot and made color copies. Because if you use the if you use the color copier from, what's it called? A color copier as opposed to an inkjet copy, they won't run. So you can go that route. The copies from Office Depot, I believe, were 56 cents a piece. And I think I spent $5 for all the copies I made. I'm making 3 jars total. What I'm making these for, you can make them for any reason. What I'm making in my in-law family, before I could even, when I was dating my husband, before I could even meet the family, I had to learn how to play poker. His family is really big on penny ante poker. And when I say penny, I mean penny. When I first met them, I would go to raise a quarter and they'd all go, okay, I'm out. I didn't realize that a quarter is like raising like $50 to them. So really it is all for fun. But everybody has their little jars that they keep their money in, their pennies and stuff. And I made a little jar for my mother-in-law about 10 years ago. And it was out of one of those little mini Pringles cans, and she still has it to this day, by the way. Everyone else's that I made, they're all long gone. I mean, they're little paper. You know, I don't know how she's managed to keep it all this time. And I was thinking, I want to make something that's sturdy. It's out of glass. So I've already made the one for my mother-in-law, the one for my sister-in-law, and now I'm making the one for my brother-in-law. He is a Florida State fan. So I am making him basically, I printed out a bunch of Florida State logos, and I'm going to decoupage them onto the pickle jar. One note about getting the smell out of the pickle jar, if you choose to go that route. Putting these in the dishwasher works wonders. However, for the lids, not so much. The lids, for some reason, hold that pickle smell really, really well. So what I did for the lids is I took a bowl and I put bleach water and I let those soak for about 2 days. They will start to get rust on them for some reason, but if you just wash them real good with, you know, with a washcloth, with your dish rag, the rust will come off. So just a little tip if you choose to use pickle jars. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Please forgive, my table is always so messy. It's controlled chaos, is what I like to call it. So we're going to get started on the pickle jar and getting everything ready. So let's go ahead and, whoopsie, and move things over. And hopefully you can see everything. I hope. Okay. So first thing we're going to do, and honestly, I just kind of just go with the flow. I may not use everything that I printed out. And I honestly don't even know if I should have enough, but the first thing I'm going to do is I am definitely going to use this big one. And I think I'll put him over the big label here. Yeah, I think I'm going to put him like right here. Yeah, I'm going to use the big guy because I don't have a lot. And that squeaking you hear is my chair. I don't know why, but my chair, it squeaks like crazy every time I move. So I'm just pouring some Mod Podge onto my little paper plate. And first thing you want to do is take your little foam brush and you want to apply your Mod Podge onto the place on your jar that you're going to apply. And you want to do a pretty liberal amount. You don't want it to be running off the jar, but you want it to have a pretty good amount. I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing here. And you can still kind of move it once you get it on here, but not too much. All right, so hopefully you can see that. And then once you get it on there, you want to take a pretty generous amount and just pat it on there. Now, sometimes these will get, especially the big ones, they're going to get what I call, they're going to get wrinkles, crinkles. Like right here, I don't know if you can see, there's one right here. So I'm just going to take, a paper towel and see if I can smooth it out. But it's really hard to get these out. For some reason, they just create a crease. So I'm just going to put a little bit more Mod Podge on where yeah, see, they're already in there. But I'm not too worried. It's not going to be perfect. Okay. So I'm going to go to the next and see what I want to put in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in whatever holes. And over generally when this dries, when it's wet, these papers will kind of show through. But once it dries, it won't. I think over this I'm going to put right here. For the other ones, I had many more pictures. For this, I didn't want to use the same thing over and over again. See right here, and I'm going to show you. This one you can see through. But once it's dry, you should not be able to see through it. With the other ones I did, you could see through really bad, but once they dried, it's pretty good. I don't know if you can see too well with that light, but I can see through. I can see the label through the picture, but once it dries again, it'll be fine. All right, so now let's see what might work here. I think I'm going to go over here. I think I'm going to put this guy right about there. And I've already got Mod Podge there, so I don't need to put any more down. Yeah, I think I'm going to put him about there. And the whole thing about Mod Podge is it's all about overlaying other images. It's not going to be perfect. I've got another page that I can use, and I saved that to the last because I didn't know what I would use and where. And I'll get to that in just a minute. Yeah, I think I'm going to put that right here. Do the helmet about there. So I want to move it over just a little bit because I'm kind of hiding that FSU logo and I don't want to do that completely. Yikes. That looks good. That looks good. All right, now that I've got pretty much, I'm not sure if I'm aiming, well, I think I could use that right here. Yeah, I think I'm going to use that right here. Perfect. Yeah, that'll work good right there. Okay. I think I'm pretty happy with this overall. I'm hoping that you can see this. And I don't know if you can tell, but it is see-through at the moment, but it won't be once it dries. Okay, and I'm going to let it dry. Now, I already did the lid, but I want to show you. I basically took a contrasting color. There we go. I took a contrasting color. I thought red would be good because Florida State colors they're more like burgundy, but I didn't have burgundy, so I went for red. They're red, burgundy and gold. And I have some gold paint, and I'm going to try and paint gold around the rim, but I took a Florida logo and I put it on top. I decoupaged it on top, basically took the Mod Podge, and I put it right there on top. And so when I get done, I will do that on there. I'd like to show you, let me see if it's dry. Ah, it is. Okay. This is the one I made for my sister-in-law. And this one, let me turn the, maybe it'll help if it's not right. Okay, there we go. This is better. This one I made for my sister-in-law. And let me put the lid on. Okay. This one I made for my sister-in-law. This is my great niece. And I basically took a bunch of pictures and I printed them out, same way as I did the other one. You can use photos. Just make sure they're not done on the home printer. Same thing as before. They actually will work better if you use real photos than the regular paper because they're thicker, just so you know. And I basically just did the same thing. With these, I did them perfectly straight, but you could do it askew and different, you know. But basically, this is what I did. Took all these different pictures of her. And then for the lid, I just painted it, and then I took a picture of her and put her on the top. And now, what you'll do when this dries, and I'll get to that in a minute, but I took the polyacrylic and I put, I don't know if you can see, but you can see how kind of shiny it is, and that will protect it. I've done 2 coats of this so far. I'm going to do 4 total to really seal it in. And, but again, I'm going to do 2 more before it's done. And this will be a really nice jar to put pennies in or whatever else you want to put in. So we will let that dry and we'll come back and we will finish it up. Okay, so this is completely dry and it's really hard to tell. I know my lighting's not the best, but it's basically dry. It's all matte, and if anything were to get wet, it would completely pretty much ruin what we've got here. So now what we're going to do is put the polyacrylic on to this project to seal it. And like I said, I like to put 4 coats. You could get away with 2, but I like to make sure it's really sealed. So basically I prefer a foam brush so that you don't really you don't want to see any brush strokes. If you use a brush like this, you're going to see those strokes, and you want it to be really nice and smooth. So basically all we're going to do, and you want to apply liberally, a lot, a nice amount. You want it to be, you don't want to apply very little. You want to have a lot. It will dry clear, and basically I'm just going to go all the way around. And it doesn't take long for this to dry. I usually give it, and it'll be actually dry to touch within about 15 minutes. but I give it about an hour in between coats to make sure that it's really dry. And basically, you're just going to go all the way around. And we've got it done all the way around. And I use these, let me turn it around so you can see. I use these little, you can get them at a dollar store. They're like the little roasting pans. I use them for all my painting, and very, very rarely do I use them for cooking. I use these little pans for all my painting and drawing and stuff. Stuff doesn't seem to stick to them as it will to paper or anything else, and it keeps my table from getting glue and stuff on it. And these are so great for, like I said, glue and the varnish and everything else. So so I like to put stuff in here to dry when I'm working on a craft project. It really seems to work a lot better than anything else. And I wanted to kind of show you, since this is completely done, it's completely varnished, and I usually paint the very bottom part of the lid just so that the color is all the way through. We're going to come back and show the exact how the one we've worked on is complete, and when it's completely dry. Okay, so as you can probably see, we're in the car. That's because I forgot to finish filming my finished jar. I did go ahead, we finished varnishing the rest of this jar. I wanted to go ahead and show you that I did paint the top of this. I did gold on the side of the lid and then the red. And I did want to make a note that the bleach did not work getting the pickle smell out of the lid. After a while, I don't know why, but this pickle smell came back. It's the plastic on the inside of the lid. So I tried vinegar, water. That didn't work. And so then I tried a baking soda paste, and that worked the best, but the pickle smell was still faintly there. And so I put, I don't know if you can see it, I put a fabric softener sheet in each of the jars to kind of help, like I said, it's only a faint smell, because these are going to be used for pennies and nickels, and the smell of coins will override just the faint smell of pickle that is still there. If you have any suggestions for getting the remainder of the pickle smell out of the plastic up from the lid, I would sure appreciate it if you could share it with me on this page. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will have more DIY videos coming up very shortly.